Hi everyone, and welcome to this Super Rugby Handicap projection show. We've got week 8 of Super Rugby coming up, and we're looking to get stuck into 7 games. As always, we want to get our say in early. What do we think the handicaps are going to be? Or at least what do I think the handicaps are going to be? And we'll compare it to bookmakers and see how close we are to theirs. And that will be a signal as if we want to go in big with some early bets. And before you do anything else, if you haven't watched the show before, and if you're interested in sport, you're interested in betting, make sure you go below this video and hit the subscribe button as well as the bell. You'll get notified of all of our videos. We often go out with live shows like GG Gaming Gone Mad at 8:30 on a Thursday and 9 o'clock the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. But we also do some recorded shows, so you don't want to miss any of those. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. It's often just me rambling on my own on a Sunday with my projections, perhaps with input from 1 or 2 guys. But we actually got a bookmaker in the studio with us, and it's Dave from GGGaming.bet. He's head trader there at GG Gaming. You'll know Gary Lenton from the GG Gaming Got Mad show. Dave, great to have you on the studio here. Sunday, late morning, and we're pricing up on Super Rugby.
Lovely, Brent. It doesn't end, eh? We watch Jags against the Chiefs in the early hours of the morning. We wake up and it all starts over again. It's so awesome. It's so exciting. Super Rugby is not just a weekend product. It begins on a Sunday here at GG Gaming.
Right. Well, I just welcome to the boys on the live chat. And when I told them, and just to explain how this is going to work, Dave, you and I are going to work through the handicaps. You've sent me your handicaps already. I've got mine. We didn't collaborate beforehand. But your handicaps that you're putting up now, you're sticking with those. And at the end of the show, which should be around about 12 o'clock, you're going to make them live on your site. And those handicaps will be guaranteed for 15 minutes.
100%.
You're not going to shift it till 12:15.
100% correct, Brent. At least till 12:15. I want to give all the guys the equal opportunity. You know, we put our heads out there. We make our stand. And, yeah, we want to give the guys the opportunity to come and test their knowledge against ours before the other markets come out. So at least till 12:15, I won't be moving any of these caps. Your guys got more than enough time. Log on to their GG Gaming account and come and get us.
Right, well, just to welcome some of the guys on the live chat, we've got Sean Nicholas, Ruan Ferree, or no regular punters. The first time viewer, from what I can see, has got the name A9ZBV, so I'm not too sure who that is, but he's curious about the Red Stormers handicap. And hopefully a few more boys will join us throughout the show. We've got about a few guys online at the moment, but guys, feel free to comment with your handicap as you go through. Rion Ferree there saying, hi, Dave, I think the boys are going to enjoy the show. Dave, I just want to start off by sharing my screen, and I'm going to go straight to the results of last week. And let's just, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
No problem.
But just talk through the results, because from a handicap perspective, there were some interesting ones. Crusaders beating the Hurricanes 32-8. That was quite a convincing win for the Crusaders. It was our best bet in our Good for the Game newsletter.
Right.
And it arrived quite comfortably, the -2.5. But the one I wanted to quickly chat to you about, Sunwolves against the Waratahs. I mean, the Waratahs beat the Crusaders the week before, Dave, and now the Sunwolves come out and beat them. I think they had the line here was at about 16.5 points when the game kicked off. I mean, what sort of a result is that generally for the bookies when you get such a big upset? I mean, do people actually take the Waratahs in accumulators and stuff like that?
You know what? Unfortunately not. The Waratahs, in terms of their outright, just a touch too short. They were trading at 1-16. The guys tend to give them the skip in the accumulators. What we found, this was a very interesting market. We came out 18.5 on the Sunday last week. When the European markets came out on Monday, it was 13.5 on rumors that Waratahs would be resting a lot of their star players. When they didn't, the market gravitated back towards the 16-17 mark. We stayed static at 18.5. We did shorten the Sunwolves in. We didn't want to come and find that potential middle line. And yes, we laid the Sunwolves. They climbed into the Sunwolves by us. Waratahs went up 7-0 early. We thought, yes, the Sunwolves implosion that we've been expecting wasn't to be. And we're paying out like men tomorrow. They got us good and solid.
I'm sure you are. You took it on the chin. I got the feeling from Gary on the show the other night that you were happy to stand the Sunwolves. And I must admit, I also thought the Waratahs would win that one quite comfortably. Just to skim through the rest, the Blues, they were -5.5 against the Stormers. They did the business there. A lot of controversy about the ref, but I thought the Blues were value for the win. At the end of the day, the Stormers not able to get a try. The Reds against the Rebels, there was quite a bit of support for the Rebels. I unfortunately went the Reds on Super Brew here, but a comfortable win for the Rebels, and I think another one for the punters there, Dave.
Definitely, we escaped that. We were lucky enough to lay a lot of the Reds anti-post, and all the online guys came into the Rebels. It was pretty much a Peter Paul result for us. You know, we were leaning towards the Reds, but no damage done on our side.
Right, and I know Gary liked the Bulls plus 4.5 because he made it our beat the search in the GG Gaming on Mad Show. And that arrived.
I'm actually starting to think that Gary Lenton and Poor Heyman have got something on. Because, I mean, he loves the Bulls every single week. You'll see when my friends come out now as well. So
he certainly does. He goes for the Bulls all the time. And, I mean, they did the business there. Although I got to say, I thought the Sharks are pretty unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate. I think the Sharks are their own worst enemies. They should have won that game. They had their chance.
Without any shadow of a doubt. They could have stuck it out. They had numerous opportunities. Yeah, definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, and then the final game was the Jaguares against the Chiefs. The Chiefs going well clear at one point, and then interestingly enough, the Jaguares came back to actually lead, and I thought the Chiefs were going to lose, but they got a late try to win the game there, 30-27.
Yes.
Pretty much as expected, I guess, at the start of the game.
Pretty much, that's exactly where it was. It was always around about 2-3 points, finished exactly on the spread. I think bookmakers might have laid both. We did lay both. Wasn't a damaging result for us. Pretty much a form result.
Right. Well, let's move on to the handicaps, Dave. And just before we start, I mean, I often tell the guys what I do. It's very much a gut feel thing. I run through the games. I write my handicap down. I want to have my handicap out there before anyone else puts theirs out there because I don't want to be influenced.
Correct.
I'm sure you guys are much the same. But how do you guys work, particularly now GG Gaming, that you've been first out consistently in Super Rugby? So, I mean, you got no markets to work off. You're basically coming out with your own line.
100%. Pretty much how it works with us. Myself and Gary are very involved in the rugby. But since Justin has joined us and come on board, he is our head rugby market maker. So what we do is myself and Gary each come with our lines about 9 a.m. in the morning. Him and I will sit and discuss it, find a medium between the two of us. Then by 10 a.m., Justin will come out. Once Justin comes out, we will compare his to myself and Gary's, and then we will try and find a medium between the three of us. If any one of us have got a very strong opinion about a specific match, we will then voice that, and then we will take that person's line on a specific match. It doesn't always come around where you've got very strong opinions, but when we do, we stick with our opinion all the way through.
Excellent. Well, that's sure interesting for the guys to hear how you go about handicapping the game. And I guess in a way, this show's doing much the same. We're bringing a few opinions together and see if we can get any value. Ruan for just making the comment that Justin sleeps late on Mondays. Peter Paul saying,
now, you know what? That's why, and I really want to encourage, just to add on here, I really want to encourage these guys to get stuck in on Sunday. We do suspend our markets on a Sunday evening, and that is purely for the guys who just want to come and pick the lines that are totally out of whack with the European markets and don't have the guts to make their own assessment on a Sunday. We're putting it out there on a Sunday. No one else is out. We try and encourage the guys to come and have a bet with us on a Sunday. By Monday morning, we'll reevaluate what we have played, reevaluate where other markets have come out, and then adjust our pricing or our lines accordingly.
Right. Now, just to let the people know, you WhatsApped me. I don't have them in front of me, but you did WhatsApp me your picks before the show. This one stands out to me. So I've put it in there already on the right-hand side here. I'm on the Good for the Game forum right now. Dave, I've opened the thread already for the next week's rugby, and I'm going to post your predictions on the right or your handicaps on the right that you're going to hold there till 12:15, and then mine on the left. Now, I can tell you, Peter Paul coming plus 4.5. I think he says Highlanders plus 4.5, which is quite interesting because you've gone choice game, and I'm actually totally in the other camp. I thought this game would be, and I'm just having a look at my very badly scribbled notes, I went minus 6.5 Highlanders. So the question I've got to ask myself now, Dave, is are you wrong or am I wrong on this one?
I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to say that I believe you're going to be wrong in your market. I don't believe that you could potentially be wrong in the match result, but there is a thinking between myself and Justin and Gary that Hurricanes might come out slight favourites, even though we don't agree with it. And, if that's the case, I'm coming out at 9 to 10 the pair, no cap. I believe it's two overrated sides, slight home ground advantage to Highlanders, but a very tough one to call. Any plus in this match, I believe, would be a punting proposition for me. So, Brent, 9 to 10 the pair by me, have a go.
Right. Well, I must say, just based on the live comments here, I think you're going to get action. And I think that this indicates to me that you might actually be right with your line. Because you've got the likes of Sean Nicholas saying Hurricanes -7. And you've got the likes of Ruan Fourie coming in and saying his money's going to be on the Highlanders at 9 to 10. So interesting differences of opinion this. And in retrospect, looking at this, I'm actually thinking that you're going to be pretty spot on. And this will start with neither team being more than a point or two favorite.
100%. 100%. That's how we've seen it. And it's one where we won't be bringing, we doubt we'll be bringing in a cap, you know, throughout the week. We'll just be adjusting our outright betting according to weight of money and team news and so forth.
Right. And Hein Dumont, Couch Critter, he's also on. He said if Landers do come out as dogs, or if there is money for the Hurricanes, you'll certainly be climbing on the Landers. Let's move on to the next game then, Dave. It's the Reds v the Stormers. That was the only handicap I could recall because I know there was a big difference in opinion. Right. How have you gone in the Red Stormers game?
I've gone the Stormers -5.5. It was a very difficult one to cap. These Reds are atrocious and lift their game every now and then. The Stormers coming off 2 crunching New Zealand matches, physical toll. It's one that between us, we had a different opinion between the three of us. Justin was leaning towards 2 3-point Stormers. I was leaning towards 4-5. Gary was leaning towards 6. So to just use that thing where we've come out, it's one that we're not sure of, but we're going Stormers -5.5 as our opening gambit.
Right, not a big difference there. I was kind of with Justin on this one. I thought +2.5, but I must say, as a punter, I was kind of perhaps hoping to get the 2.5 because I do think that the Stormers will overpower the Reds up front and that they'll probably win this game. And hopefully fairly comfortably. They should certainly get a few tries at least against this Red side. Generally, the guys on the chat, they're not getting too involved in this one at that stage, and that's not too surprising. I think that handicap is going to be probably somewhere between where you and I have set it there.
Just, Brent, we can just make a typo there. We've got Stormers -5.5.
Okay. Sorry, yeah, just to mention the way I do it, what I'll do is I'll put it in brackets here. I just compare it directly to my line.
Oh, okay, cool.
Team.
No problem.
Yeah, it's a good point. I would just to mention to the guys so that according to you got Reds +5.5 and I've got the +2.5.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pleased you pointed that out because it's a bit confusing for guys, and I'll point it out when I edit the post as well. Yes. Lions v Sharks. This is a big game. This takes place on Friday night, South African time. Yes. And how have you priced? Yeah, I expect we're going to be close on this one.
Whoa, big difference of opinion here between all three traders and GG Gaming. We have come out Lions -6.5. It's like I say, between me personally, I had them 9 to 10 the pair, no choice. I believe Sharks record at Ellis Park. I just don't see anything between these two sides. We did have a difference of opinion, and I was at number 2 to 1 in terms of the minus, and that's why majority decision we've priced up Lions -6.5. If I was a punter, I'd be lumping on the +6.5.
Right, interesting. I actually thought Lions -7.5, so I'm very much aligned with Gary and Justin, I guess, yeah.
Yes.
Having a look at the live chat, we've got Sean reckons Lions -3, and A9ZBV all over the Sharks. Thank you, GG Gaming. He's going to be all over the Sharks there at the +6.5. So I think you're going to get some interesting action.
You're going to get interesting action at that line, eh? Interesting action.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting indeed. Right, that's the Lions v the Sharks game. Let's go on to the Crusaders Brumbies game. How have you priced this one?
Pretty much consensus, quite easy to cap. We've gone at 16.5. We were between 15, 16, and 17s were the three numbers that came up between the three of us. Very easy. We took the 16.5 as an average. We're comfortable at that line. Believe it is the right line.
Right, yeah. And I'm only 2 points different to you, -18.5. These, I agree with you. You looked a fairly comfortable game to cap. I think it's one of those things where we want to look at team news and team connections. The Brumbies have tended to be woeful on the road. They got well beaten by the Reds of all teams by about, I think it was 18 or 22 points.
Shocking on that Sunday.
And the only really big result this season has been against the Chiefs, which at the time the Chiefs weren't playing such great rugby, and that was, of course, at home. So interesting, but we probably won't get too much early action on that one. The Blues up against
team news is going to make a lot of difference there.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. The Blues against the Waratahs, Dave. We've got the Blues have actually won 3 in a row. The Waratahs are the Jekyll and Hyde of the Australian Conference. I mean, they lost to the Sunwolves. They beat the Crusaders. And this is an interesting game as far as capping goes. What have you gone here?
We at GG Gaming have gone the Blues -4.5, which is pretty much the top end of the minus range that we were prepared to go. I don't see it going much past that. If anything, I would be leaning towards the plus at the line that we've gone. I personally would be very surprised if it goes much more than 4.5.
Right, and that's interesting because as you'll see, I actually went -7.5. So I do quite like the Blues. I liked them last week. I was actually on them the last 2 weeks, but David, I've got a bit of a history with the Blues. I've tended to follow them over the years and made big song and dances about them. And I don't think punters take me too seriously when I go for the Blues anymore.
And sounds like me and the Tars.
Yeah,
you know I mean? To my detriment over the years, it's a side that's always been close to my heart, and I do tend to maybe overrate them. But I just think, the Blues, the one thing when Blues are favourites, I'm very, very nervous of the Blues. It's a side that, but in any case, I think, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable at the 4.5. I was closer towards no choice, but the consensus here was about 4.5. So I'd be more than happy to lay the Blues at -4.5.
Right. Well, I'll predict on this one. I'll predict that the line is going to start closer to the 7.5 point here on this one. And
okay.
I'm basing this on the comments of the guys on the live chat. I think you're going to get a bit of action on this one. On the
bit of action on the
Blues -4.5. Let's move on to the Rebels game where, just as incidentally, Sean Nicholas has capped the game -7.5 Rebels. What have you gone here, Dave?
We've gone 13.5. It's one where all three of us were at exactly the same mark. A Sunwolves implosion, we believe, is due. Because Rebels is a very decent side. Very unlucky what happened to them at Ellis Park. Just carded at the wrong time. Bad mistake by Craig Cooper in the in-goal area. Couldn't lift their game against the Sharks for that. Next match, I really believe this is a very, very decent side. And I believe that the Sunwolves are going to have a emotional downturn after their massive win. Very hard to pick yourself up again and repeat that kind of performance. If I was a punter, your 11.5 minus, I'd be jumping onto that.
Well, interesting, because we've obviously come in at a similar sort of range, but I can tell you the general consensus in the live chat is that the +13.5 is too high. I think you're definitely going to see some action on the Sunwolves there, Dave. Will be interesting to see.
Lovely.
You welcome that. Bulls v the Jaguares. Right, the Bulls are back home after a good win over the Sharks. Probably a bit of a fortunate one. The Jaguares, well, I thought they were going to beat the Chiefs at one stage. They've got a very bad record when they travel to South Africa, though. Interested to see how you cap this one.
We have gone out at 10.5. Again, a little bit hard to cap. I think the fact that match in Argentina, where Jaguares gave them a good hiding, they were nowhere. It is sticking in the back of my mind. And I have seen, now that the repeats or the reverse tournament, reverse rounds are starting to happen. The Tars beat the Sunwolves by 1 point previously, and we thought, well, there might just be sides that just suit other side styles. And at the 10.5, I know we've gone up 10.5. I'd be very nervous to lay the Jags at that plus. I do feel that the Bulls did start off the season on a high and with their speedy backs, but I've got a feeling they might be found out a touch here. I see this. I personally would be, even though we've gone 10.5, personally I would be on the plus.
On the plus there. Okay, interesting. So having a look at just your and my caps at this point, we've got the big difference on the Highlanders game. I'm putting up my hand and saying I think I've capped that one incorrectly and that your cap is going to be closer to the mark. Plenty of guys are on the Hurricanes there. 3 point difference on the Red Stormers game. I do think that Stormers at my handicap would attract support. I think you might be closer to the mark there. Crusaders, Brumbies, not much difference. Blues, Waratahs, I think you're going to get some support with the Blues -4.5, and I think you're going to get some support at the +13.5 Sunwolves. Bulls, Jaguares, probably a difficult one to call at this stage. But certainly that brings us to the end of all of the handicaps, Dave, and the punters have got about 15 minutes or so now to get stuck in.
Lovely. I'm going to go open up. We'll be live on the site within the next minute. Guys, thank you so much for having me on your show. And, let's get cracking.
Excellent, Dave. What a pleasure. Great to see a bookmaker making an effort like that. And I think the punters are going to love it. Those who watch it live will obviously get the advantage of going in now. But the rest of you can also watch it over the coming week, and make sure you subscribe so you can catch future shows live. I have put the link below here to the Good for the Game rugby thread. You'll want to stay close to that all week. And thanks, of course, to the boys who made some excuse to get away from their wives and came and joined us here for Sunday lunchtime handicapping show, when probably said Sunday's a day not to talk about Super Rugby. Thanks very much to all the boys on the live chat, and get stuck in to anything that you see early value at GG Gaming. We'll see you Thursday night for GG Gaming Gone Mad, and of course the handicap rugby chat that matters.